Hi everyone, welcome tonight. We're back again for our next
Did you miss us again?
So what we thought we would do today is talk about an issue that comes up for a lot of people. And that's if, as the title suggests, if you struggle with self-esteem and self-belief, you're not alone. I honestly feel like every single person on the planet deals with this at some point to varying degrees. But it's certainly, worryingly, is a very prominent issue for many, many people. So, as we said, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that suffer from low self-esteem or low self-belief. And if you do suffer from that, what you tend to do is look to outside sources for validation and acknowledgement. I personally, this is an issue that I have kind of had to deal with. It's been challenging for me throughout the majority of my life. And the way that I used to do it is I would become very adept, very skilled at being able to read people and to work out what they expected from me, who they thought I was, and what they wanted. And as much as possible, I would try and be that or do things that I felt they wanted me to be like, just simply so either they would like me or so that I would feel valued. And it really does come down to that. We're really searching for, being valued within sort of a group of people, I suppose, because we don't necessarily see that in ourselves for a range of reasons. I don't think you can really pin it on one underlying cause. I think there are a range of factors that can affect whether a person actually has high or low self-esteem, or again, high or low self-belief. And they're slightly different, obviously. And obviously, if you're looking for outside sources for validation, much like when we're talking about looking for outside sources for motivation, that can be problematic for a range of reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. When you do things to gain self-esteem, and self-belief from others, you become reliant on them. And once you do that, you need them. You need people around you that give you what you think you need. That's not the most ideal way to live. And in time, it becomes problematic because it becomes draining on the individuals. And what happens then is that kind of approach creates a toxic environment for everybody involved. And soon people will get tired of it. Will start bickering and fighting, and they don't really know what they're fighting about. They just know that this doesn't feel right. And it's almost like you're asking me to do something that I can't do, or I can't give you what you really need, because what you need comes from within. It's not external.
Well, this is something that's come up for us. We've been together for many, many years now, but this was an issue that came up fairly early on, where I was looking for validation. I was looking for belief from Stephen, and it's not his job. So I was putting all of this pressure on him.
I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't in the brochure.
I don't remember you signing up for anything, really.
No, I didn't.
But what we found was that it was just putting pressure on the relationship. And when he wasn't necessarily forthcoming with that validation, I would then feel very down, and I would question, well, what am I doing wrong? I'm not this person. Where really what I was feeling was like I'd been almost, I don't know, it's almost like just cast aside, really. And that wasn't the truth at all. It was simply that Stephen is not the sort of person who enables, and he has allowed me to work through that myself, so that now I don't need, as much as it's nice for him to say something nice to
and
me.
I do.
Yeah, and he does. I don't need it. I don't need that to feel good about myself, or to feel good about our relationship, or to have self-belief.
Yeah, so one of the ways that I've heard it described, and I think it's an amazing way to see things as well. It's when you're looking for validation or building self-esteem from the external world, some people call it other esteem instead of self-esteem. I mean, it's in the title, it's in the word self-esteem. But we give that responsibility to others, and we expect them, as we said, to do it for us. But the best way to build self-esteem is for yourself, and to build trust and a sense of reliability and resilience within yourself. And there's a story that kind of illustrates this really well. It's someone who had a friend. Imagine, like, if you had a friend and you needed something that was important to you. It wasn't life and death, but it was important to you. And you asked this friend to do it for you, and they agreed. And so when the time came, however, the person, your friend that you relied upon, fell through and couldn't do it, or just decided not to do it for whatever reason. But then you gave them another chance, and you thought, okay, I'll need something else. It's really important to me. So you ask them again, and again they say yes, and then again they fall short of delivering on their promise. You might even do that again, but in time, you'll begin to realize that you can't rely on this person. You begin to lose faith in this person. In fact, you begin to lose trust in this person. And so the point of the story is that we do this with ourselves. And how we do it is, each time we set a goal that we want to achieve, that something is really important to us that would make us happy, and we don't follow through with it, we lose a bit of faith in ourselves. We lose a bit of trust in ourselves. And so that's where self-esteem begins to diminish. It has nothing to do with anybody outside of you, or any situation, or any predicament that you find yourself in. It's simply based on how committed you are to following through with the things that you set out to do. And so, because your actions towards yourself make a statement, whether you believe it or not, whether you understand it or not, your actions make statements to yourself more than what you say. It doesn't matter how many positive affirmations you say, or positive thinking you do. It's the actions that make the most difference. And if you're not following through, then don't be surprised that you don't feel great about yourself. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what we're kind of at with the whole self-esteem thing.
Well, you're making a statement too about how much you value yourself. If you think about other people, like family and friends, most of us would think, well, we're reliable, we wouldn't let them down. It just wouldn't come into our minds to let them down. And yet we so easily brush aside the promises or the commitments we make to ourselves because it doesn't involve anybody else. And yet they're the most important commitments, and they're the most important, that's the most important person that you really should be committing to. Because if you don't have that self-esteem and self-belief, again, like we said before, in terms of whether it's training or nutrition or whatever it might be, you're not necessarily being your best self. It's not about being anybody that's different. It's being your authentic self. It's being your best self. And then obviously everybody is going to benefit from that if you are showing up and you're happy within yourself, and you're happy because you've kept your word, you've kept your commitments, you're making a statement, I value myself, and you'll find that other people will reflect that back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll also find that when people do let you down, and they will, for whatever reason, whether it's intentional or not, because you have that inner self-belief and self-esteem and self-reliance, you won't react as strongly as you did before when you didn't have all those things.
Because you're not relying on it to feel
exactly.
good about yourself. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
just kind of a bonus, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the takeaway for this video is really simple. Build trust within yourself by completing small goals, and progressively get bigger as you build more and more trust and more faith. If you continue on to that process, you'll begin to realize that the things that you're afraid of doing actually were there to help you to develop this brand new ability that you have to believe in yourself. And so, as we said, you become less reliant on people, which means you become less draining on other people, and it'll be a lot more fun to be around you because you're not expecting anybody else to do anything for you because you're already whole and complete for yourself. But the other point is to make yourself a priority, and schedule the things that are important to you, important to your health, well-being, and success, along with the other things that you feel that are important in life as well. So one of the things with self-belief and self-esteem is when you accomplish the goals that you set out, you're making a statement to yourself that you are valuable, that you value yourself, that you love yourself. And I don't mean in a conceited way. I mean in a genuine, as if you were loving someone else who was really important to you. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's about. And by doing those two things, by setting and accomplishing small goals and then building up to bigger ones, and also by by proving to yourself that you're a priority and you're important by scheduling the things that are important to you that will help you gain health, well-being, success in whatever field, in whatever aspect of your life, will ultimately give you what you really want, what you're seeking from others, in a more authentic and real way and a long-lasting way. Because once you achieve this particular ability, or realize this, you have this ability, you will then grow and evolve, and that's the whole point of experiencing life, experiencing things that are challenging, is to grow and evolve. And so, yeah, so they're the main aspects of, if you want to achieve genuine, authentic self-esteem and self-belief.
Okay, so I think that's all for tonight. Obviously, if you'd like to find out more about us and what we do, you can go to livewiseproject.com, or certainly if you have any comments or any questions, just pop them in the comments below. But we'll say goodnight to you now, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.